So what can you tell us about the wind turbines in this area here?
As far as
Well, what's your experience with them? Have you had any adverse effects or?
Well,
the only thing is the noise.
well, first of all, it's an eyesore. This used to be all country. They have these red lights on it, and they all seem to flash at the same time. So you feel like you're living in the middle of an airport. Actually,
That's
I
what
call
I'm
it. I call it an industrial park. I feel like I'm now in the middle of an industrial park. And they do make noise. We're getting about a southwest wind. If you walk over here, you're going to hear these two making their noise. I don't know. So.
I hear some noise over
Yeah.
here right now. Is that what I hear?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's not an airplane. That's the wind turbine.
Is that what that is?
Yeah, if you step over here.
Right here, it's
Yeah. Yeah, there's two of them back here. You hear that?
Yeah. That's loud.
Yeah.
I can hear it
that's-
at night when I'm laying in bed.
Yep, we
Can
can
you?
hear. We have a brand new addition right in the back of the house, and we can hear that.
Now you have your house up for sale. Is it because of the wind turbines?
It pushed us. It's not the only reason. We want to get closer to our family, but yeah, it pushed us to giddy up and get out. Yeah.
Okay.
Because we knew what it was like, peaceful. Birds, you hear the birds, the wind, and now we got, this. Now maybe somebody might not care. There's people who live along highways or airports, maybe, they don't care, but we knew what this place was like.
We knew nothing really about them. Companies said, well, they imposed I thought it was 800 foot, no, maybe less than that. Let's say 800 foot setback from the nearest resident.
Not from their property line, but the home.
Nearest resident. I believe that's what it was. I haven't looked back for some time. But in my opinion, it was way too close because we had people that complained noise, noise, and noise. See? And it wasn't at high wind speeds. It was low wind speeds, like let's say 10 to 15 miles an hour or something like that. That's where the most noise was coming in. The decibel level was 50 decibels. We knew nothing about it. In my opinion, it should have been 45. They threw out that number and they said you and I are talking 50 decibels, which is probably true. I don't dispute that. But after, even though they've never, I shouldn't say they probably have not exceeded this 50 decibel level. But it's constant. It can go on for, the wind, it can go on for 24 hours or more, and that's when you start getting complaints because it never goes away, and that's when it gets irritating. With this noise complaint, they set up a toll-free number, and you could call that any time of the day or night, whatever, 24 hours a day, and file a complaint stating that was noise and it sounded like this, it sounded like that, and what time of the day, approximate wind speeds, and I don't know how long. That went on for about a year. I think I would say a year that they had this toll-free number up. And then at the end of the year, what they did was contact these residential homeowners and offer to buy their property or buy their homes.
Oh, they did offer to buy?
Oh yeah, they bought 2 homes, 1, 2. It was 5 basically complaints all the time. 2 homes they bought, tore them down. One party got a divorce, so person lived there, didn't bother her or whatever. The 2 other places, they brought a lawsuit against WPS. They settled. I think they settled out of court, because if they settled in court, it would have been public record, and we were not able to find out what they settled for.
Are they still living there?
They're still living there. Yeah.
Now you mentioned that the public utility, 2 of them they bought and they tore them down. Why do you think they tore them down rather than try to resell them? Were they trying to just mitigate having more problems?
If they would have sold them, they might have sold them to somebody that would still complain.
Still complain.
So they didn't want complaints. So
They
they,
didn't want
yeah,
complaints.
yeah. one of those situations, well, the person got a divorce too, and he came out on top by selling it to them, and, you know, the other party just sold the house.
Hey, you know, being, you know, public official, you hear a lot of things. Do you feel that the complaints from the property owners were valid, or
Oh, yeah, sure,
they were valid?
oh, yeah. You know, they'll say, well, you only got one home complaining or two. Well, the turbines are right here, 8 of them. There's only 2 homes close by. But if there was, so you had 2 complaints. Well, they said there's only 2 complaints.
Do you think
But if there was more homes, if there was 10 homes, maybe you'd had 10 complaints.
you would have had more?
See,
Yeah.
you know, so,
Do you expect to have any more development for wind turbines in this area?
no. The companies themselves, utilities, won't put up any more. But if they were to put them up, they would have private companies do them. And then buy the electricity back from them.
Why do you think they're getting away from the development themselves and having a company do it? Is it too much?
They want to be good neighbors, so if they don't do anything about a complaint, they're not good neighbors. See? So if they deal with a private company, the private company would have to deal with all the complaints or issues or what have you. They would have no problem. See, that's what they told us, basically. It's a lot easier to deal with have a private company put them up rather than themselves.
Getting back to the economic side of this, did this development, other than, you know, bringing revenue in to the local township and the county and to the landowners, did it create any jobs here?
When they were first building them, private contractor dug the bases. And I'm sure they got the concrete for the bases from a local concrete supplier, you know.
Other than construction, were there any jobs created?
No. No. They do have, but they found their own personnel to maintenance, you know. And if there's a problem with that, they come in with their own companies or whoever they have.
Somebody
Whatever they need.
Specialized?
Well, basically they come in with a high crane, you know. We don't have that, nobody around here has that, so they have to come in with a private company from someplace, I don't know where.
Have there been any maintenance issues with the turbines? As far as, you know, wearing out, anything?
I believe there is. We get a report every year as to what could have been replaced or what was replaced. Basically, it's the generators and the oil. Sometimes a bearing goes out, they have to replace that, you know. But that's all done by them, and we have nothing to do with that, you know.
Can you tell us a little bit about the benefits to the community, or pros and cons that you can see on both sides of this development for your community?
Well, financially is the biggest benefit there was, you know,
For the township?
for the township, yeah.
Was it a needed revenue stream to help?
No,
It wasn't needed?
we could have done without it,
You could have done without it?
sure, yeah.
But it was nice having the extra.
Well, absolutely, yeah.
It's always nice to have extra money.
Right, yeah.
So the money, the financial aspect of it is a benefit. What about cons? I mean, was there any negative impact?
We had a person that complained a lot about stray voltage. Hardy himself spent a lot of money trying to control the stray voltage on his place.
Did he have livestock?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
oh he's a
Dairy farmer?
dairy farmer, yeah.
Big dairy farmer?
Oh yeah, 100, I don't know, 150 cows he might milk, you know, plus other animals, you know. And he spent a lot of money trying to, he couldn't alleviate it, but he could control it.
Did the development company, the public utility, do anything to help assist him with that?
No. We did have Public Service Commission of Wisconsin come in and do testing. And their test came back saying that the towers are within guidelines. I don't know what the guidelines are. That they did not exceed his guidelines towards, some say, stray voltage. His concern was they did.
Have you heard of any, just looking back at my notes here, talking to you, have you heard of any like health concerns people have had because they're living next to them, or?
Well, in this party that put up their home for sale, they thought their kids were having too many headaches. So they did have Madison Gas and Electric, that's the owners of those utilities, did come in and do a study. And study or whatever their findings were, said that they were did not exceed guidelines for residential homes, as far as stray voltage went. That's as far as it went.
Another question here is about information that's made available, on the internet. There's a lot of information about Lincoln Township that's available on the internet, for people to view and consider. What are your thoughts on that information? Do you feel it's factual information? Is it an accurate representation of what's taken place here?
I have not seen it. I don't have internet access right here, but I know about it. And basically what I'm telling you now is, if you want to compare what I've said to you to what's on the internet, well, work from there. I think it's pretty factual. I think they exaggerated on maybe on some things. I don't know which ones it would have been, but it's reasonably accurate, I think.
Reasonably accurate.
Yeah.
It's a 500 ohms resistor here. This wire is hooked to my stall. This white wire is a remote ground rod way across, way away from the buildings. So if I can go shut the power off across the road, this will still read the same. So this is coming out of the earth. And I'm 4 wired. When I shut my power off, all 4 wires are disconnected. So my ground and neutral don't even come back to the farm either. So this is coming out of the earth, getting on my stalls. This is where the cows are living. And
What kind of impacts have you been having with, you mentioned reproductive problems?
low milk production, health issues,
reproduction?
cows dying, cows dying of cancer and stuff like that. And more of it, more than normal. This, before we started, was 5,000. Before we start, when the windmills went on, that was 5,000. And we got it this low by doing a lot of different things that I'm gonna keep to myself.
Yeah.
And when the utility comes out, the utility's been on this farm numerous times. Every time they drive in this yard, hour before they come in this yard, this goes to 0. Before they even do anything. And then when they leave, which is maybe a day or the weekend later, it goes back to whatever is coming out of the earth.
Have you,
So they can clean this up. It's just that they can't keep it clean for one thing. They can't keep it low enough for one thing. And you're just battling with them all the time. And another thing, there are meters right there for check the water meter for how much water the cows drink. Cows this size, what they were milking before, we were getting 30, 35 gallons of water in these cows. We struggle to get over 22 gallons a cow. That's their milk production. Can't get the water. You need the water to cleanse their body and get the toxins or whatever. Their whole system to work.
digest food?
Digest the food and all that stuff. Every animal that dies on this farm gets autopsy. Calf, cow, tear it apart. We want to know what's wrong. What she died of. What happened. And what we've seen was the organs, the heart was inflamed, the kidneys, the liver, blackened, and then a lot of biggest thing that seems to come on is the Clostridium and the Salmonella. That's what they kind of die from it. So I mean, it's frustrating, So I mean, what I'll tell you to make it very simple, it microwaves you from the inside out. That's what it's doing to our cattle. You say, what human issues does it have? I'm no scientist, but what I see in my cows got to be affecting me too, and my family. I mean, what you're seeing these cows reproductively, production-wise, and they had the university vets out here from Madison saying my cows only lay down 8.3 hours a day, and a cow's supposed to lay down 12 to 14 to 16 hours a day. I'm only getting half that. It's affecting them. That's why they ain't reproducing, producing, and I mean reproduction isn't there, the production isn't there, and stuff like that. So 8.3 hours. That's all these cows lay down. They don't want to lie down. That's why I'm losing the milk production and all that stuff. And another thing, we had a university vet come out here. He stood right by the return alley as the cows are being milked and said 33% of our cows are lame. Well, if they ain't laying down, they're going to be lame, right?
They're on their feet too much.
They're on their feet too much. And then you ask these vets and the utility and that, okay, now you had these studies done. That's what they're saying. What are we going to do? They're saying my stall designs should be changed. Cow comfort. I got 3 layers of rubber mattresses underneath these cows' feet. How can I get it any more softer? Stall design. You can see there's nothing in front of them to, when they lunge, they can get up and do whatever they want. And the other 2 groups of cows are in sand bedding. So if they're in sand bedding, it's the softest you're going to get it. And so I told them I wouldn't buy it. And the vets asked me, what do you think it is? I said, right here. You lower that down, I guarantee these cows will lay down. Because at times, we get it low, really low. And there's times that when I got in trouble here about 3-4 years ago, I clipped a lot of ground rods across the road. Stayed like that for 14 months. This meter went way down. My cows went up 20 pounds of milk. These issues weren't here until utilities found it, put it back together. And
So you know where it's coming from.
I know where it's coming from. I have no doubt in my mind. And I had a 30,000 pound herd average before those windmills were up. Now I struggle to get 20,000. So I mean, it all boils down to stray voltage, or I'm not going to call it stray voltage, ground currents and electrical pollution. So I mean, there's more to the story than they let the people know.
There's a lot we don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot that we don't know. And it's amazing. And I just came across it as I was fetching this stuff, you know, and trying to figure out and solve my problem. You know, and using transformers and you name it. So I mean, what you guys got to do is really do a lot of research. If they're there pounding on a door and got permits from landowners and all that shit, you guys are kind of screwed because their foot's in the door already. You got to do this before they get their foot in the door. So, I mean, I've been around enough to see this and the hoopla they go through.
What can you tell us about the windmill development here? Has it been a positive thing for the community, or?
Well, it's been a positive thing as far as the income for the township and the county. It has brought revenue back to the township and county, and is saving a lot of as far as WPS for electricity. I believe these 14 windmills here will have enough electricity for about 4,000 houses.
4,000 houses?
Yeah.
You're a dairy farmer.
Yes.
We've talked to other dairy farmers. Do you notice any impact to your dairy cattle at all, or?
No. It's, you know, there was so much controversy about it when it first went up. I mean, there was all kinds of health reasons and noise reasons and killing of birds and everything. And there's no noise. I mean, too bad they aren't running if you hear them. But if we have a strong northeast wind, you'll hear them here a little bit. It'll sound like water going whoosh, whoosh. But they've been there 8 years now. You get used to them. I guess that's about it.
Okay. How are you hosting on your land right now?
Yeah,
or?
there's 2 of them on our land. They're actually way over there. Way over there. Well, 2 on our land.
How many are in the area here?
There's 14 right in here.
14.
Yeah. Yeah.
We stopped and talked to your neighbor down here, Scott, I think is his name. Shrenka. He says he's having some issues with stray voltage.
Yeah, I don't know. We don't have any. I don't know. Whatever. I guess, you know, we did have an issue with stray voltage. We found out our issue was within.
Oh.
It was our own problem.
Oh.
You know? So that was taken care of.
Oh. What kind of problems were they?
Well, there was stray voltage. We had, you know, cows were getting swellings in the knees and and on the hips, and milk production was down and so on. Then we had an electrician come in and checked everything over, and we found we had problems within.
Oh, I see. What did you do to correct it?
Well, our grounding was one of our problems with our grounding, and WPS helped us out with that. Okay, and then we had a bad motor, which will give you straight voltage at any time. So it's things that we did find, within. So we got it all cured now.
No, nothing affiliated with the wind towers?
No.
Okay.
And and then we had a isolator put in on the pole here, which does help if there is any direct current. Does break it down. So right now everything is going good. I mean,
Is there any issues with any people unhappy with the turbines in the
well,
area?
you know what it is. It's anything new you do. There's always people that are on the reverse side of it. So, and we had a group in here that was really, they just didn't want them to go up, and that was it. And well, actually the state is pushing it. I mean, let's face it,
Right.
they're pushing it. So,
What do you think about the state's push for the renewable energy?
well, I think we got to do something else, find something else other way than just oil. I mean, this oil is going to kill us sooner or later.
Do you know, is there any correlation between the oil and electricity?
Not well. WPS owns these here. I don't think there's any correlation really. I don't think
Between
there is.
oil and
no,
electricity?
I don't think there is.
Do you know if these been able to reduce our dependence on coal or nuclear?
Well, see, yeah, they have, because the electricity from here, like I said, goes into a grate, and we can have enough electricity produced here to actually take care of 4,000 houses.
Does it provide a consistent, reliable amount of power for the houses?
Yes, except like when there's no wind.
I see.
But they run at least 90% of the time. I would say they're in operation.
What about jobs? We hear the politicians talk about these wind energy developments creating jobs. Are they going to create jobs? Are they creating jobs in this area?
Well, I would say they got 2 to 3 men that are full-time maintenance work.
Local people?
Yeah, 2 of them are local. I know.
local?
Yeah,
Okay.
they work for the Vestas company, which did put them up.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and Vestas is out of Denmark actually.
And how long have these been up?
99.
99?
So it's 9 years. I said 8.
About
It's 9 years.
9 years already.
It'll be 9 years June 1st. So they've been in operation.
Does it create any conflict in the community? You mentioned the change, and some people you said
Well,
don't like that. Did it create any conflict in the
It
community?
did at first, and there's always the people that are against it,
Yeah.
and a lot of these people, wanted to get a little royalty off of it, but you got to be a landowner to get anything off of it. So they didn't. There's always jealousy. That's all there's to it. I mean,
Do you think it's just a lot of jealousy?
I think it is. I already do. I already do.
We're sitting here today with Greg and Levon Brosh, and this is in Fond du Lac County and Byron. And Greg, we just want to ask you some questions about how the wind turbine issue in your community has affected your life. I guess we can start with the noise or sound issues, your quality of life. How has the noise of the turbines affected your quality of life here?
Well, it's very irritating, extremely irritating. These people come up and they high pressure everybody to put them up, and they tell you there's no noise, but then they move on and you'll never ever see those people again. But it's very annoying. I don't think we'll be able to keep the windows open in the summertime.
Can you describe the sound, what it sounds like?
Well, it sounds like you live in a few miles from the airport, actually.
Okay. Let me ask you some questions about the local economy up here. How do you think this type of project is going to benefit the local economy? Is it going to bring jobs into the area? What is
None
this?
that I can think of. The only thing it did was, and we have Michael's Pipeline in Brownsville here, who put in all the roads. But if Michael's wasn't here, it wouldn't have created any jobs. Everybody putting them up was from out of state. every component made in those windmills is made out of the United States even.
So you don't see where there's going to be much of a boom for the local economy as far as creating jobs.
None.
Okay. What are your thoughts about the renewable portfolio standards that the states are pushing for to have a certain amount of renewable energy by a certain date? Is that pushing our states in a right direction, or is this the right type of development to accomplish that?
Well, I think wind energy is okay if it's located in the right places. You should have a larger setbacks that are not allowed to put them. It should be more than 1,000 feet from houses.
What are the setbacks currently in this area? Are they right around the 1,000-foot setback
1,000 feet from your house.
from your house? What do you feel that should be?
As far as possible. I don't think 2,000 would be enough, but it wouldn't even be feasible putting them up if they did that. But they should be put in less populated areas, and this is rural. It's not extremely populated, but every windmill is close to somebody.
You both farm, a family farm. You have dairy farm
Dairy and cash crop.
and cash crop, and you also fly.
Yep.
What can you tell us about your experience with this development in this area from when it started to today? I mean, just in your own words, just give us a little bit of background as far as how we got here today.
You started.
I'd say we gave it open mind when it came, and we decided not to go with the developer when it came down to it.
You hosted a Met Tower on your land
Yeah.
to
A
stay
little over 2 years.
for about 2 years.
A little over 2 years it was.
What was the experience like working with that company with Met Tower? Was it a good experience?
There was no problem with the Met Tower. And it didn't interfere in the land too much because we put it on one of the fence lines.
Okay.
Only the diagonal cables that come off. And then we had to look out for when we worked around.
Okay. What were some of the issues that you found with your decision to not host a turbine? Did they give you any problems when you decided that you didn't want to participate in the project?
You mean as the company?
The company, yeah.
Yeah, they were very negative to us.
Right.
They actually come out and threaten you. Either you do this or we're going to put them around you. They told us if we don't sign the contract, we're going to put them all around you and shut you right down. That's what they told us.
That was the first thing that EA said, actually. We got a call from a company in Illinois in 2002, and one of their guys actually came out here. We didn't know what was going on, or this was the first we ever heard of it. Basically, he said that they knew about our airstrip because it's on the map, and that if we didn't go along with what they're going to do in the future, they would build them around you.
What was your primary reason for choosing not to participate with the tower? Was it because of your airstrip and how it would interfere with that, or was it just you didn't feel it was a
I
good?
think there was many reasons. One was we'd lose too much farmland.
Okay.
It would create a problem with flying because propellers create a vortex and your plane becomes unstable
Okay.
and it pulls you down. So now we can't spray our crops.
Mm-hmm.
We're damaging so much good farmland. So we figured it wouldn't be feasible to even go that way because we'd be losing too much in agriculture.
Now you have wind turbines around you. We looked out the window here, and you've got one here and another one over there. How does that affect your? You obviously probably don't know right now this time of year. Have you flown with them up or
He did the other day.
They're pretty, you wouldn't want to fly downwind of them.
downwind?
Yeah. They place them far enough apart, themselves, so they don't create turbulence between them two.
Okay.
So you probably won't want to fly in between there.
Okay.
So
Your runway so is it your runway impacted by this type of development around
Yes.
you right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
when they were permitted it, they actually hired a pilot who was actually a friend of one of the lawyers
Mhm.
to go down and testify with the PSC that he flew down by Paw Paw, Illinois, that it didn't affect him when he flew. So he came and testified, he was at all the hearings saying that it wasn't a problem. He made graphics of what it would look like to have one next to your runway, and claimed that the buildings are more of a problem for our runway than a wind turbine.
Because of the airflow, is that what he was saying, or the?
Yeah, the close proximity of our runway in the hangar there.
Okay.
It'd be more of an obstacle than a 400-foot wind turbine.
You mentioned about this area, the farmers in this area, that there's a lot of crop dusting,
Yeah.
spraying.
We did have a lot of cash cropping,
cash
peas and corn, sweet corn.
How can you tell us how that's changed and how this type of development is going to affect that?
Well, the peas and corn are kind of going out if they can't spray with the airplane,
Okay.
because it doesn't make sense to drive in fields where the crops are big already and run it down.
Okay.
The problem is if you get, like this last fall we had trouble with the sweet corn, a lot of it blew over sideways.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't get a ground rig down the rows.
Oh.
So I don't know what they're gonna, you would lose an option to.
The other farmers in the area that have hosted the wind turbines, are they concerned at all about not being able to get out to spray their ground, or?
A couple of them. One of them that hosted turbines right here to the south of us asked the company if they would shut the turbines down when the crop duster goes through.
What did
and
they say?
sprays. They said no,
They won't do that.
no.
What's your experience been with either the local officials or the company? I mean, do you feel that they came in here and they wanted to work with people, or did they just come in here and disregard what people thought?
They seem to come in and they put up a front like they're really trying to do something for you, but in the long run, they're going to stick you in the back, it seems, and they want to turn neighbor against neighbor, so that that you can fight amongst themselves, and then they can come out and sit back and be the winners.
Okay. Okay. Let me ask you a couple of questions about the quality of life. You mentioned, you talked to your neighbors, and can you comment on about the noise or the sound, what it sounds like, or what other people have thought about that?
When the wind's over 12 miles an hour, it sort of sounds like a jet engine kind of. The roar, it's a deeper tone, deep roar.
Does it keep you awake at night, or does it wake you up, or does it affect people's sleep patterns if you're talking to your neighbors?
You can hear it when you're outside, but now it's winter and we don't have our windows open, see?
Your windows aren't open right
Right
now.
now.
So in
So
summer
that's-
maybe it will be.
It's going to make a difference.
Okay.
When you're outside, you can hear it constantly.
What are the setbacks like around here from a home? I mean, this one over here you mentioned is 1,000 or 1,500 feet away.
Yeah, I think that's the minimum.
That's the minimum.
What do you feel that that's adequate? That they should be set farther away, or what
I
are your,
think they should be set farther away from the home.
how far do you
At
think?
least 1,500 feet,
At least
at
15.
least.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know, is there any benefits to the local community by having this here? The landowners are getting paid, the community's getting paid, reimbursed some financial. Is it creating any jobs? We're asking people about questions on jobs because they're at the state level, like in Michigan or Wisconsin, they're saying that these type of developments are going to create jobs. Can you comment on that at all? Are they going to create any jobs for the local economy?
They said they would hire a couple of people to service them.
Local people?
I don't know. It would have to be specialized, I guess, in some way.
Specialized.
Yeah, we'd have to have some kind of training.
They do hire some local contractors to come in and do the gravel work.
Okay, so the construction jobs, there's jobs that way.
Right, construction phase, there's lots of jobs. I mean, there's probably at least 200 people that worked on it or better. There's quite a few people.
But it's short term once it's constructed.
Right.
We would have liked to see that it would be more local, because we have quarries right here,
Mm-hmm.
but they bypass them and they go to the big operators, big construction outfits that they can get it cheaper with,
Can you tell us a little bit about the construction? We're talking about construction, about the access roads, how they're put in and what they look like and what they've done to the farm fields?
They put 90 feet of culvert in and put breaker run down, top over road gravel.
And how much land area does that take up when they go in there? How many acres of land would these access drives take out of a typical farm field?
I don't know.
I would say it's pretty close to 5 acres
5 acres.
per turbine.
Depends on how far back in the field they
Yeah.
put them.
And how many roads they go through the field with.
And is that disrupting the farming activity for the local farmers up here having their fields divided up?
I would say, I mean, the general trend in farming is bigger and bigger, wider equipment.
Wider equipment.
So you're gonna have to be more inefficient, I guess, when you farm smaller fields,
Okay.
especially with GPS. We just adopted that last year. So I mean, you're gonna have to go around stuff instead of straight lines.
You know, as far as the contracts, you were offered to sign a contract. What was your thought about the context of the contract? First of all, and did you feel it was
Very one-sided.
one-sided?
Yeah. They're in control of everything.
So if you own a piece of property as a landowner and they, as the developer, come in, you sign an agreement with them. Do you have any control over where they're going to put these access drives in, or where they're going to place the turbines, or do you have no say-so in that?
There it would depend on the company, I think,
Okay.
because each company has different contracts.
Okay.
There are some companies that are a lot better understanding and work with the people. But the one we happen to have in this area, I don't think is very nice at all.
Just a couple of farmers that we know yet that they said that they weren't happy with where they put the stuff. They said there's no leeway in where they can put it. You know?
Okay.
So they either had to go along with it or that was the end of it. You know.
Okay. What else was I going to ask you about the contract? Now, you were offered to sign a contract, but you chose not to. How did that impact you in the community? Did that make any of your neighbors unhappy with you because of that?
Many of the neighbors were unhappy. They sent us threatening letters
Threatening letters?
that we owe them so much money because we're keeping them from getting money from these wind towers. Because we had an airstrip here, and originally the Dodge County Board said that they should stay away 9,200 some feet. What the FAA had said they should from airstrip. Because we've been here 36 years with airstrip
Okay.
in use. But evidently it didn't mean much because they just appointed other people to override them.
Now, these letters that were written to you by your neighbors, were they handwritten letters from people themselves, or were these letters coming from the company? Or?
They were typed up from the company,
They're
the
form-
PR person.
Yeah, form letters from a PR firm.
From a PR firm?
Kitty and Kurth from Chicago, Illinois.
Were they connected to the developer?
Yes.
They were?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the developer, he's on the Carbon Climate Exchange. I don't know if you know about everyone's trading carbon credits.
Yeah. I've
He's
heard
onto
of
that, and
Okay.
this PR firm worked for Al Gore too, and himself, so there's kind of a tie.
Okay. Do you know anything about property values? Have you heard anything in the local community? Are people concerned about property values being not maintained, drop in property values?
I think the property values where the turbines are is going to drop
Okay.
because you have less workland, number one.
Okay.
And any houses that were built up around them, people don't want them in their backyard no more now. And so if they want to sell their houses, they ain't going to get as much money for it.
Can you talk about some of the effects it's had on the community? You mentioned that, neighbors are pitted against neighbors, or can you expand on that a little bit and tell us a little bit more what some more of the effects have been in the local community because of the development?
I'd say there's more hostility, yeah.
More hostility?
Yeah. I mean, generally, yeah.
Okay.
It changes, money changes people, man.
Money changes people.
That's the biggest thing.
Running out of battery?
The neighbor across the road had their house for sale, and they had 3 different buyers on it. And everyone that found out the wind turbine was going up in the backyard, they backed right out of the deal.
Has the house sold yet, or is it?
No.
No.
They took it off the market now because they couldn't get it sold.
Can't get it sold because of the development. Okay. You mentioned the shadow flicker earlier about the sun and the blades. Can you talk about that a little bit as far as what that's like here?
I mean, if if it lines up, it'll go over your whole yard, you know. It'll come off your buildings and
Does that happen every day at a certain time, or?
just when it's clear out and
Clear.
if the wind turbine is turned right.
Okay. I don't know if I asked you this question or not. If I did,
I guess if I was hosting a wind turbine, I wouldn't put it east or west of my house.
okay, I had someone
Makes
else
sense.
mention that. Yeah, because of the sun rising and sun
Right,
setting.
right.
Okay, that's a good point. What was the interaction with the local officials like at the township, the boards, the commissions that were appointed to approve this? Did you have a good feeling about working with them, or did you not? Can you comment on
They
that?
seem to be sold out to the wind energy company already. Everything is just for the wind energy. They wine and dine a lot of them ahead of time, and they're very positive about it. They don't want to listen to people. They think a lot of the complaints and stuff have no merit.
You said you flew up to Minnesota to look at the project up there. Can you comment on that as far as what your thoughts were when you took that visit up there?
There's quite a few of them, and people up there seem to be positive towards them, I guess.
Is there much development? Are they located around homes or around farms or buildings, do you know?
It's not as populated as here.
Not as populated?
It's pretty sparse, more open.
Was that a similar developer that was up there?
It's quite a few of them. It's all different.
Different developers up
Some
there?
of it's actually owned by farmers. They
I
own
see.
their own. There's actually a wind turbine manufacturer that moved into Pipestone, I believe. They build up propeller blades there. So it's actually, benefiting the community there.
Okay. So your decision to not participate was an individual decision then? I mean, do you think that if they were to do it differently in this area with this different development, that you would still participate in it, or just?
Probably not.
Probably not.
We own a nice,
I think maybe someday
I don't know.
if you could have a small one to generate your own current from the house, for your house, maybe it wouldn't be a bad thing if they can prove that it's efficient enough, but I don't think they can prove it yet. That it's gonna be efficient enough to generate enough for a home, just,
I mean, we own 450 acres. We took most of the fence lines out ourselves, by hand, moving all the rocks, so
Yeah.
really didn't want nobody to put a road through the middle of it.
Okay. Do you have any thoughts in general about the efficiency of wind power?
I think they shoot a lot of figures at you, showing that they produce more electricity than they really do. And in this area here, Wisconsin only got wind enough for 21% of the time? They figure?
They claim those are
So-
24%, about, or 30. They claim 30.
And
They
then,
always give you the figure that it produces so much, like 66 or 63,000 homes this is supposed to provide power for.
If
at
it's running
100%.
But they never tell you that it takes a 25-mile-an-hour wind to make that.
Yeah.
So the power curve is pretty sharp on a wind turbine. When the wind drops off, it goes down dramatically. So on average, they're not going to produce very much power.
it takes about a little over 8 miles an hour just to start producing electricity. So the turbine can be turning out there and not doing nothing.
Okay.
And up at Calumet up there with this, what was the guy's name that flew in here?
Dean,
What's his last name?
Heimerman.
Heimerman? He said that they brought that up at the meetings. They wanted them to shut the turbines down if they ain't producing enough electricity. And he said these people just jumped right off of their chairs. Because they want to keep these people that are seeing these turbines turning believing that they're making electricity all the time.
I mean, the average person sees them
They think they're
turning
producing-
and they hear that figure that it's going to produce power for 63,000 homes, and they're thinking, wow, this is great.
So you've attended a lot of meetings and been quite involved with this process right from the start then?
I think we were the first person that they called because of the airstrip.
Do you feel, that the knowledge you've attained has put you in a position where you know what you need to know about it?
Yeah,
Okay.
There's
Yeah.
always more to learn too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's always more to learn about it.
yeah. I mean, we were open-minded. Like I said, we had the test tower and we gave them a fair shake. And
How do you feel about the development here now that it's here? How does it make you feel to see this here?
It's a mess. It's a mess now. I don't know if they're gonna get it straightened out in time for these farmers, they wanna put their crops in spring and
It
And
changes the view, I guess. That's the biggest thing that people always tell me, because you know we live here, but I don't really get to see it from a far away distance. That's basically they say, well, you can see it from Beaver Dam, or you can see it from Fond du Lac, or the other side of Lake Winnebago. You know, I
Yeah,
guess
they-
I don't really notice that
from
because
Oshkosh, they can see this down here, right?
we live in it. You know,
They can.
They can see it from Oshkosh, right?
The state, I guess maybe it's the Public Service Commission would be the agency, but they don't give much credence to what people think about aesthetics, how things look.
no.
What are your any comments on that?
I guess you know they really don't care if a couple people don't like the way it looks. You know.
Is there more than a couple people that don't like how it looks?
Well, I would say if it would come down to a referendum vote for all the people, I think it would be kind of marginal if it would go through.
Right. In the town or something. Yeah.
But that it didn't come down to that, and it should, I think. I think the whole township should vote on it. If this are going, I think that would be a good thing, to get all the people to vote on it, one way or the other. Not just a couple of people that are on the town board. And you should bring that out and make them aware of all the problems, and the good things. If there's good things about it, I mean, bring them all out. Let the people make the decision, not just a couple of them.
There was a couple of people that spoke up, you know, that it's fine if they want to build them, but the town and the county should actually benefit from it, you know, instead of losing all the money that's going away from the town and the county. Because it does affect, like you said, all the people can see it, and it affects you, I guess, somewhat.